Hi, I'm Harper.
Ciao, I'm Eva.
Easter is right around the corner, and from what I gather, it's kind of a big deal here. Under normal circumstances, there's a huge religious festival, followed by a huge meal. And this year, they can't really do the big religious festival, so I think they're going to compensate with an even huger meal. The food prep has already begun, and we thought we would give you guys a taste of it with 3 of Eva's favorite Easter recipes cooked over the course of a few days. In true Easter fashion, they all involve eggs, which means we better go pick some up.
We are going to make the traditional cookies for Easter. Their name is, at least here in the size, Taralli, and we are doing this a little bit earlier also because they are good, they last fresh for at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So don't worry, you can make them in advance. And they are made for Easter, but nobody tells us that we can do them, for example, for Christmas or during a normal week, because believe me, they are really, really delicious. For our taralli we need flour, sugar, milk, eggs, some lard. We need baking powder, we need some vanilla aroma. We need this is what we call ammoniaca, and I hope you can find this also in America, or if you don't find, you can easily use, for example, baking soda. And then we need some lemon zest to give the aroma also of lemon. In Italy we have this powder vanilla, but if you don't find this, you can easily add 3-4 drops of liquid vanilla. What I'm going to do now is melt some ammoniaca, what we call ammoniaca, and some baking powder in some milk, and then add this to our flour, sugar, and lard. As you can see, guys, while I'm mixing with the fork, I try to gradually add some flour, and then when it's not liquid anymore, we start to work with our hands. Now, guys, our dough is ready, so what we are going to do is give a shape to our cookies, and we are going to give them our traditional southern Italian shape. Today, guys, is the day number 2 of our preparation for our food for Easter. The dish that we are going to cook is typical from Liguria. The name is Torta Pasqualina, and it's let's say that it's a savory cake, and we need to prepare this the day before. So the cake, the dish, has all the time to, how do you say, to let this flavor comes together. So when you will eat, it will be an explosion of pleasure just in your mouth. For our Torta Pasqualina, we will use we call this bieta. In English, in America, it's like a Swiss chard. Maybe it will be a little bit different, but the Swiss chard will work. As you can see here, we have the leaves of our bieta. Here we have the stem of our bieta. Then we will need olive oil, we will need salt, black pepper, marjoram. I'm sorry, guys, from Liguria, I couldn't find here the fresh marjoram, so I had to choose the dry one, but if you have the fresh one, it's much better. Then we are going to use onion, and this is the fresh onion from Tropea. You can use also a white onion, it doesn't matter. Then we are going to use eggs, because eggs are the main protagonists of our Easter. We are going to use the flour to make the dough, obvious parmigiano, and we are going to use the ricotta. I need to say that the traditional and original recipe from Liguria requires a cheese that is made just in Liguria, so for us here in Calabria it's very hard to find. That's why usually we substitute that cheese with our ricotta. That is not the same, but come on, it's pretty good. How much warm water we need? There is not a really precise amount, so then this is because the flour that you are going to use can be different. So I suggest you to add the warm water, small quantity at the time, and check how your dough is. We need a dough that is soft and smooth, so it's not sticky. The original version of the Torta Pasqualina required 33 layers, which means 33 small balls that we will flat with a rolling pin, but today nobody maybe makes 33, so we are going to do more or less 7 or 8. today is the day number 3 of our preparation for Easter. But as we say in Italy, ubi maior minor cessat, which means that today there will be someone who will help me. So let's welcome our special guest.
Ciao, sono Mamma Rosa.
Guys, finally we have Mamma Rosa here with us. Mamma, che cuciniamo oggi?
Facciamo le uova ripiene, secondo una vecchia tradizione di Dasà.
Perché le uova ripiene si cucinano oggi?
Perché le uova vanno mangiate nella stessa giornata.
Mamma, quali sono gli ingredienti per le uova ripiene?
Cominciamo dalle uova, poi la ricotta, parmigiano, pepe nero, farina, mollica di pane grattugiata, pizzico di sale e per friggere olio di semi. Per preparare il ripieno bisogna togliere il tuorlo e l'albume rimane qua. Adesso è il momento di aggiungere la ricotta e poi il parmigiano.
Quanto parmigiano?
Se la ricotta è asciutta, meno parmigiano. Se la ricotta è bagnata, ci vuole più parmigiano.
No.
Allora dobbiamo ricreare l'uovo intero
Ok.
usando l'albume, mettendo l'impasto,
Mhm.
poi passandoli nella farina, poi nell'uovo,
Sì.
poi nel pane grattugiato. Per capire quando l'olio è caldo, basta buttare una mollica di pane. Adesso sono pronte, mangiatele calde e buon appetito!
Guys, buon appetito.
And finally, it's time for us to sit down to our miniature Easter feast. Now, this is probably a very small version of the real thing.
Let's say that this can be a piece of breakfast, our cookie, and the other two, they are like antipasto.
All of these dishes ended up having a theme that I wasn't expecting. And the theme was not just eggs, but eggs used in a completely surprising way. For instance, the cookie, I kept wondering, where are the eggs coming in? Where are the eggs coming in? Oh, they're just like stuck on there and baked. Wasn't expecting that. Then we have the Torta Pasqualina. I kept seeing these eggs out ready to go in. I thought maybe they'll be hard boiled and cut up and sprinkled in kind of like a lasagna. Nope, they're just like cracked into these little divot holes and cooked in it. Kind of cool. Then we have the stuffed eggs. When Mama Rosa started making these, the way she began, I thought, okay, they're gonna be kind of like deviled eggs. You know what deviled eggs are?
No.
It's like the white shell of a hard-boiled egg, but you fill the hole where the yolk was with sort of a mixture. I thought that's what it was gonna be. Didn't expect like the deconstruction and then the reconstruction of a whole egg. So all of these really surprised me in the way that they used eggs, and I'm excited to taste them.
So Harper, let's eat.
All right, we're beginning with the eggs, right?
We're beginning with the eggs.
It's cool because they look so uniform on the outside. It's actually hard to tell which side is the egg side and which side is the cheese side, but here we go.
Buon appetito!
Buon appetito. It's a little hard to see, but you can see the egg half and then the cheese half, and both halves are amazing.
There is a problem with these eggs.
What's that?
That after you eat one, you need the second and the third and the fourth.
The quality of the ricotta, I'm imagining, is making a really big difference here. That sheep ricotta. Check out our cheese video, by the way, if you haven't seen it already. But that mixed with the Parmesan, it's just a cheesy, delicious egg. Okay, well, before I can't help myself and I go back to eat all the rest of those eggs, maybe we should move on to the Torta Pasqualina. Look at that, you can see the egg in there. And I love, too, all the layers of the crust, which is another thing that I was not expecting at all.
And then you put the oil and it becomes a sort of what we call pasta fillo. It's like on all the Arabic place they have this, like also in Greece. They used to make baklava or something like that.
I can't imagine it with the traditional 33 layers, though.
Yeah. I think that excessive. It takes like forever. So, Harper, we should try it.
Yeah, do we need a fork?
No. You take your slice and bite.
When in Rome.
Buon appetito. It's a good savory cake.
I was expecting basically a quiche, but it's not. With the ricotta in there. It's pretty different, yeah. The crust is amazing. It's really good. All those little oiled up layers. I also like these greens. It's basically Swiss chard, right? It's a little bit sweeter than the Swiss chard we have in the US. It's not quite as bitter. It's really good though. Last but certainly not least is Eva's Easter Tarallo. Tarallo.
Actually, Harper, this is what we call curulla, which means the crown, so it's the big one.
I can see why.
Then we make also in a smaller shape.
Like mine?
Yes, guy.
I made one, and it's not as pretty as Eva's. It's not bad. I tried to do a 4-strand crown senet back from my sailor days, and as it turns out, dough is a lot harder to work with than rope. So maybe. It's not perfect, but you know, it's kind of cool. It's got an egg in it. It's just a 1-egger. I'm not ready for a triple egger like Eva.
Harper, which one we are going to try? Mine or yours?
Yours is too pretty. Let's save it for a little while. Let's break open mine. So this is the same kind of cookie that you had in our last video for breakfast, right? But this is your homemade version. I haven't had one that you've made.
This is, I made this with the recipe of my aunt, Zia Maria. The other one I just bought here in the local bakery shop, but they do in the same way, so I know how it tastes.
Okay.
Buon appetito.
Buon appetito. It kind of reminds me of something we have. You find it in Northern Europe and also in America, soda bread. It's been a really long time since I've had soda bread. Maybe if there are any soda bread experts out there, let me know in the comments.
Do you want to share?
Sure, I'll have a bite.
It's eggs.
It's an egg.
It's an egg.
This is one of those things that I love because it's obviously a very, very old tradition that came from something other than a culinary, reason. Because, let's be honest, if you were, inventing this cookie today, if you were a chef, you wouldn't be like, you know what this cookie needs? A baked egg just stuck right in the middle that you eat separately. It wouldn't even enter into your brain. So it must be some, symbolic something from the past.
Let's say that there was a reason. This was the main dessert for Easter, at least here in the south. And because Easter comes always in spring, and because spring is the period in which chicken makes more egg, cooking the eggs in this way, they could keep the eggs cooked for a long time without wasting them. So there was a reason why they put the eggs.
If you're gonna bake this big cookie, might as well get some of your eggs in there too. Well guys, whether you celebrate it or not, we hope you have a great Easter weekend. We're gonna be gone for Easter itself. We're gonna be here celebrating it with family, so there won't be a video, but you might wanna stay tuned on social media because we will definitely be posting some updates on what's going on here, and it could get interesting. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter @PastaGrammar. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Ciao!
Ciao.